Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapisa Sibidi. Now, in our first story, survivors of a ghastly accident that claimed 6 lives at Kwabena are blaming the driver of the burnt bus for the crash. They say he failed to heed police signals to stop and ended up crashing into a stationary Kia towing truck at the police checkpoint. But some of the survivors say the police could have done more to save the burning passengers. 6 persons were burnt beyond recognition and 22 others sustained minor injuries. LFM's Rasta Sasari Donko has been interacting with some survivors and has filed this report.
It's a sad day today here at Kwabena, and just before you reach the main town, this is by the roadside. It's the Offenso Techima Kintampo Highway, and this is where this accident occurred. Now what you see behind me is what is left of the bus that was carrying passengers from Babli, close to Wa, heading towards Kumasi. Now we do understand that there is a barrier, police checkpoint, just right here to my right, and the police had stopped the Kia towing vehicle, which is just sitting ahead of me right here. And so as they were checking on the driver, this bus at top speed rammed into that vehicle and caught fire and started burning with the passengers in there. What we do know at the moment is that 6 people have been confirmed burnt beyond recognition. 22 of them managed to escape. And one of them is this gentleman who is standing right in front of the vehicle here looking for his brother who he was with in the bus.
This 15-year-old boy lost his father in the accident. He and 2 others who were on board the bus shared their experiences with Love News.
So he's telling me that he was sleeping at a point in time, and so as to how the vehicle had this accident, he doesn't know. But then there was so much noise within the vehicle, and the vehicle was full of smoke. They couldn't see anywhere. And so that is where he got to know that something has happened. And he managed to break a glass at the back of the vehicle, and he managed to get out of the bus alive. But he was with his brother. He's been searching for the brother since then. He has not been able to find him. He says, well, he's been searching for him all day, and since he has not found him, it means that now he thinks that he might be part of those who got burnt.
He
tells me that he was in the vehicle with his father, and he blames the driver of the bus for the accident which occurred. And I asked him why. He says he was speeding, and when the police stopped him, he wouldn't stop. And he crashed into the Kia towing vehicle. At that point, he says the people were in the vehicle when it crashed. He was trying to find a way to get out. At the point, he saw that they cracked the window open, and then he also came out. But that was the point where he realized the father was not with him and that he has been burnt in the vehicle.
In all, 17 persons were rushed to the Janice Peaks AME Zion Hospital here at Kwabena, Afrancho. Ernest Owusu-Ansah is in charge of the emergency ward of the hospital.
We had 1 child, and we had a total of 11 males and 6 females. Some sustained minor bruises, no obvious fracture, no catastrophic bleeding, so everyone is virtually stable.
Some of them say they expected the police to do more at the scene to aid passengers out of the burning vehicle.
So what Michael, he's a survivor from the vehicle, has been telling me is that if the police who were standing around at that particular point had made an effort to come to the vehicle, break the windows to try to rescue some people, more people could have been rescued.
But Kwabena District Police Commander DSP Jesse Ajman says the police did their best under the circumstances.
Personally, I wasn't on duty there, but what they told me is that the little that they could do at that time, they did it. They were able to rescue 22 out of the number that were on board. and they says got burned. It's unfortunate. They says it's not just only 6, but the best that they could do at that time, that is what they did.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Away from that, teenage mothers in the Ashanti region will receive support from a project by the National Youth Authority. The Teenage Mothers Livelihood, launched by the Ashanti Regional Directorate of the NYA, seeks to provide an opportunity for teenage mothers to be productive through livelihood support. There's more in this report.
The Ghana Health Service recorded 550,575 cases of teenage pregnancy across the country between 2014 and 2019. In 2020 alone, 107,023 cases were recorded. The Ashanti region bears the highest number of cases of 17,802, representing 16.2% of the national figure. National Director of the National Youth Authority, George Owusu Owolamponsa, says the launch of the Teenage Mothers Livelihood Project is to create a platform to enroll the young mothers in vocational training.
We want to pilot this Teenage Mothers Livelihood Project, where we want to recruit young teenage mothers who, by virtue of the fact that they have babies, 1 or 2, we want to place them in apprenticeship, sort of. Those who want to do apprenticeship. We place them in apprenticeship, they learn a trade, they learn a skill, so that they can be empowered, because one issue that can degenerate, that can cause degeneration of young people going into another pregnancy is lack of livelihood. If the person gives birth for the first time and there's no engagement, nothing engages her, there's likelihood for her to go back to whoever impregnated in the first place is very high. So we want to curtail that.
An officer at the Girls Unit of the Ghana Education Service, Hannah Ponsa, entreated parents to support their wards who fall victim to teenage pregnancy.
Speak to parents that if you have a teenage mother at home, there's still opportunity for that girl to get back to school, irrespective of the pregnancy. Even if the person is pregnant, the person can still go back to school. If the person has given birth, they still have opportunity to go back to school.
A beneficiary of the Livelihood Project, Lillian Obin, spoke to the effect of how the project will aid her and her baby.
The program will help us a lot because some of us are like our baby's father are not looking after the children, so it will help us. I don't work, so it will help me to work. So that
Continue Boys Report read to you.
Now, the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly has begun an exercise to reinstate Tamale as the cleanest city in the country. Mayor Sule Salifu says his outfit will work to ensure the city regains its lost pride, having been declared the cleanest city by the Ghana Tourist Board for 3 consecutive times over the years. Correspondent Martina Bugri has the rest of the story.
Tamale Metropolis, like any other big city, has its peculiar challenges when it comes to sanitation. In recent times, there has been loads of garbage along the Tamale Sports Stadium stretch and many other areas, which people have described as hazardous to people who live and work around these places. But over the week, the Tamale Metro Assembly and Zoom Lion have begun evacuation of this field and the provision of litter bins in some areas. Speaking at one of the waste distribution centers, the Mayor Sule Salifu said it would be a wasteful effort if the assembly would evacuate this litter and does not provide litter bins.
We want to ensure that Tamale is restored days where it was described and named as the cleanest city. We cannot do this alone. The Assembly has partnered Zoom Lion Ghana Limited to evacuate the refuse dumps in the metro. We have done that. We are going to continue to do the evacuation. But steps must be taken to ensure that if waste is evacuated somewhere, measures are put in place to ensure that waste is not brought back to the place again.
He said the litter bins are not for free. Recipients will pay a token to enable Zoom Lion provide logistics for its collection.
We are not leaving the containers here for free. The containers that is being distributed today is not for free. People would have to pay to enable Zoom Lion to provide the needed logistics for its evacuation. So it's not for free. But where we have these big containers for the entire community, the pay as you can policy is going to be enforced.
The mayor said the assembly alone cannot do this unless it forms synergies with other stakeholders.
In terms of picking the waste, yes, that's what we are doing with Zoom Live. You see, consultation is key in this enterprise. If we want to say that we are the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly officers, we can do it alone. These are some of the problems that we are going to encounter. And that is why, before we moved into this community, we informed the assemblyman. We went to the chiefs. They have all agreed. If enough consultation is done with the people, the stakeholders, I'm sure will not pay. And the Zoom Lion people are here. They are paid out of the monies that they collect from these shop owners. And I'm saying that once we collaborate and coordinate, consult deeply, consistency in terms of collection and disposal of the waste to its appropriate places will be ensured.
Back here in Accra, Member of Parliament for Joboso, Kwabena Mintakando, is asking the House to probe the questionable election of some metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives. His statement on the floor of the House was after tensions reached a boiling point over the controversy surrounding the election of MMDCs in the country. The MP cited the case of the Joboso district, where a presiding member is challenging the approval of the DCE nominee, which he alleges was conducted on the blind side of Assembly members.
Mr. Speaker, at the core of our democratic practice is elections, an opportunity for opposing elements to register their displeasure with how and by whom they are being governed, and any attempt to silence, muzzle, or rid citizens and elected representatives of their right to oppose decisions made on their behalf have the potential to open the doors of anarchy and lead to an open, disastrous revolt. This must by all means be prevented. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, it is not a unique occurrence, but seems to have been flawlessly replicated in several districts across the country. The plethora of locations where such horrible examples include Swaman District, Babeni Anyanso Bekwai, and Sechira Kumaru. Mr. Speaker, although MPs are non-voting members of the District Assembly, they are ex officio members of the Assembly who must be present at meetings of the Assembly. The Speaker, the Kumaru MP, however, had the unfortunate ordeal of being barricaded out of the Assembly Hall where meetings to conduct elections for the President nominee for the Kumaru District was ongoing. The preponderance of such precedents and development, as outlined, are fast eroding public confidence in the democratic practice, and frantic efforts are needed to reinstate the fast-waning confidence in the outcome of our democratic process. If efforts are not made to redirect Ghana's democratic vessel back to the path of rectitude, we may end up like the unfortunate stories of military revolts or coup d'etats and social unrest across the continent with their attendant socioeconomic stagnation and retrogression.
Minister for Local Government and Rural Development Dan Butcher, in a sharp rebuttal, said neither the President nor the governing NPP has been involved in the confirmation of MMDCEs.
In the manuals of, Hansard of this House, is saying that this matter should not be dealt with by the ruling MPP. It's admission of the fact that a political party is involved in the process of confirming an MMDC. But that's not the case. The Act 96 which we passed in this parliament, there's nowhere where a political party gets involved in this. Again, this is not NPP Ghana or Akufo-Addo's Ghana. It's allowed to stand in this house.
Mr. Minister,
and I'm saying that I'm surprised.
Mr. Minister,
yes.
I share your position perfectly, but
yes.
I wish you didn't go to that angle of you are surprised this statement was admitted. If you can take off that aspect, I would be more respectful.
I'm no longer surprised. I'm no longer surprised.
Selling products to clients can be a challenging task if knowledge about the product is vague. But that is not the experience of the sales executives at the just-ended EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. They tell Hannah Dame talking and convincing customers for 5 days boosted their morale and confidence.
I was a bit shy. My radio interview, I was like very, very nervous. I don't think I would be able to speak to a camera if it wasn't for the fair. So I think I've grown very well, approaching new people I've never met. I would say I've done well. The fair has really helped me. Yes, to communicate better.
So what would you do with that kind of exposure and new knowledge you've gotten?
I think it will help me in the long run, which means more sales for me, no shyness, approaching new people. So yeah, it will help me do better. Yeah.
We have pictures here which I just draw the attention to that. Welcome to the last end. If you have problems like this in your house, we are the last stop for you. That's all. And once I say that, they are ready to listen.
I think the first one, even though I was able to speak, I think this one is like my confidence is like higher. Like I've gained much better confidence. Yeah. Now you just don't talk anyhow. You know what to say. You don't know what to say. Like those kind of things. Yeah. There are some things you know when you say it, you just gotten your customer. Yeah.
So what you do when you're talking to a customer who doesn't clearly understand what you are saying, or you think the person is not even interested, how do you do that?
So you pitch in the discounts. The discount is something that they are so much interested in. So when they get enlightened about the discount, you say, oh, okay, can I get it cheaper? Then, so by that you are just involved. Yeah, you just get them involved, and they will just buy into what you are doing.
Some people don't really understand, or they feel like they are not experiencing the problem, so they don't need a solution. But then immediately you show it to them, like they are able to understand, and then they come back. Yeah.
So would you say your job as a salesperson is easy or difficult?
I mean, it all depends on the customer. Yes, if you are interested in the product, it's easy. If you are experiencing the problem and we bring you the solution, it's easy. But for people who feel like they don't need the solution, it's a bit difficult to convince them.
So have you enjoyed it or you have regretted it?
Oh, I've enjoyed this. Like seeing the views of different people and being able to convince people and showing people the right solution to their problems. You can see the joy and the satisfaction that they found the right solution.
That's it for the AM News. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Apita CBD.